As of today, over 200 Americans remain on alert as heavy snow and sub-zero temperatures persist across the country. As far south as Texas, Americans are seeing snow, ice, and dangerous road conditions and power outages by the hundreds of thousands. On Friday, Governor Hochul declared a state of emergency for western New York and warned residents to stay off the roads. Of course, I might say, though, the cold did not stop the Buffalo Bills. Go Bills. And last week, Senator Gillibrand and I sent a stand-ready letter to FEMA, urging them to remain at the ready to assist our state officials with whatever support they request. Thankfully, snowfall in New York has slowed today compared to over the weekend, but we're not out of the woods yet. Yet another wave of lake-effect weather is set to pass through our state in coming days. My office will continue to remain in touch with state officials, and I urge everyone to continue to exercise caution. Now on the CR. Mr. President, over the weekend, congressional leadership reached a bipartisan agreement on a clean extension of government funding until March 1st and March 8th, which will prevent a government shutdown. The focus of this week will be to pass this extension as quickly as we can. Time is of the essence. If we don't act soon, the government will run out of funding at midnight this Friday, January 19th, just a few days away. So today, the Senate will take the first vote to move forward on the clean CR, putting the Senate on a path to pass the CR before Friday's deadline. If both sides continue to work in good faith, I'm hopeful that we can wrap up work on the CR no later than Thursday. The key to finishing our work this week will be bipartisan cooperation in both chambers. You can't pass these bills without support from Republicans and Democrats in both the House and the Senate. And passing a clean CR this week is important for two main reasons. First, passing the CR, of course, will avert a harmful and unnecessary government shutdown. No reasonable member on either side, Democrat or Republican, wants a government shutdown. Both sides recognize that a government shutdown would mean crushing delays to veterans programs, nutrition programs for women, infants, and children, delayed benefits for our military, and so much more. Second, passing the CR will give our appropriators time to finish drafting all 12 bills to reflect our bipartisan agreement. Congressional leaders have already agreed to a top-line number that will protect critical priorities like housing, veterans benefits, health care, nutrition programs, and more. We want to move forward as quickly as we can to turn this top-line number into legislation, but everyone knows we need more time. Now, while most Democrats and Republicans want to avoid a shutdown, a small group of hard-right extremists seem dead set on making a shutdown a reality. With little leverage to actually enact their agenda, these extremists have tried again and again to bully the Speaker, bully their own Republican colleagues, and bully the country into accepting their hard-right views. That's it. The only tactic the hard-right has in its playbook is to bully everyone else into submission, just like Donald Trump does. And the reason's simple. Most senators, most congressmen, Democrat and Republican, do not accept that their draconian cuts will be good for America. So the only thing they can do is bully, because they can't convince, they can't win over people by argument, so bullying seems to be their way to go. Even now, the hard right, amazingly, is demanding that the Speaker walk away from the agreement that the Four Corners made on the appropriations top lines. That's simply ridiculous, as even many Republicans recognize. And it goes to show you how unserious, how incapable the hard right is at doing the hard work of governing. But if the hard right's tactics in the House have proved one thing, it's that bullying almost never works, and it ain't working for them. Bullying didn't work during the default, it didn't work during previous shutdown threats, and it's certainly not going to work now. I hope that both sides can continue working together this week to move forward with the CR quickly and prevent a government shutdown before the Friday deadline. Now on the tax framework. This morning, Senate Finance Chairman Wyden and House Ways and Means Chairman Smith announced a bipartisan, bicameral agreement on a tax framework that will significantly improve the lives of millions of working families and help mainstream businesses grow in today's economy. It's taken a lot of hard work with this framework, and I applaud the good work done by Chairman Wyden and Chairman Smith and everyone on both sides who made this agreement possible. I support this bipartisan tax framework because it makes important progress to expand the child tax credit, helps address our affordable housing crisis, and help keep U.S. businesses competitive against the Chinese Communist Party. As everyone knows, it takes bipartisan support to get things done. So I hope our Republican Senate colleagues are willing to work with us to keep this process going. Now, this tax package has a great many provisions, but there are two that I think distill why it's so important an achievement. The first number is 16 million. That's the number of children from low-income families that would benefit from this tax package's expansion of the child tax credit. It goes a good part of the way towards restoring full refundability of the CTC, and the largest American tax credits will go directly to families that earn the least. For instance, under this tax package, a family with 3 kids, where one parent earns $32,000 a year, will receive almost $1,000 more from the CTC in the first year alone. And a single parent with 2 children earning $13,000 part-time would see their credit double, a gain of over $1,500 in the first year. That's more money for parents to pay groceries, diapers, baby formulas, clothes, toiletries, the things parents absolutely need, but in many cases struggle to afford. Now, the first number was 16 million. The second number of significance is 200,000. That would be the number of new affordable homes that would be made possible because of this agreement through the expansion of the low-income housing tax credit. I pushed very hard to make sure that strong low-income housing tax credit provisions were included in this tax agreement. I made it public that omitting it would be unacceptable, and I could not support the package without it. The housing shortage is one of the biggest issues we face in this country. It affects urban, suburban, and rural areas. It's one of the biggest issues we face in New York, where we need to build more affordable housing. The low-income housing tax credit is one of the most effective tools in existence to increase the supply of affordable housing. And this package will make this credit far more generous and far more easy to access. So once again, I commend Chair Wyden and Chair Smith for all their hard work at making this framework possible. Again, it'll take bipartisan support, both the House and Senate, if we want to take the next steps forward. I hope members of both parties are willing to work with us on this package because there are many things in it that both sides can celebrate. It represents a great opportunity to help working families, help Main Street businesses, and lower costs for people across the country. On the supplemental, as we continue to work to fund the government, Senate negotiators remain hard at work finalizing an agreement for a national security supplemental. As I've said repeatedly, it's a matter of the highest national urgency that we pass the supplemental. At stake is the security of our country, the security of our friends abroad, including Ukraine and Israel, and nothing less than the future of Western democracy. We cannot afford to let these issues go unaddressed. Passing the supplemental is one of the hardest things the Senate has done in a very long time, but for the sake of our national security, of our friends abroad, of our fundamental values, and of the strength that this country is regarded in the rest of the world, we must stay the course. Yield the floor.